DeJaReview. DeJaReview. That's right, I'm looking at the gear I got from Amazon a while back. All the stuff I use for photography and YouTube in general. What I keep in this bag here. And of course, what's more important to a photographer than the actual camera itself? Something to keep it safe in, something to keep it and its other compadres, all the other pieces of equipment you have that you're wanting to use at that point. Nice and safe and secure and whatnot. Safe from the elements, safe from potentially being stolen and whatnot. Then of course in a bag. So let's just take a look at this bag from Flyleaf again, just to give you the once over. We've got all of the sports straps here, we've got these particular straps that are supposed to go over the chest. They are still a bit on the tight side, even for myself. I think anybody with a chest bigger than 40 inches is probably going to struggle to breathe if they have this thing on, because even for myself, it's just a bit too tight. You can't adjust it, but it just basically means it gets tighter. Okay, that's the maximum extension. And it's got a bit of give, it's got a bit of flexibility to it, but not enough really when you think about where it's going to be going. This section is really meant for the lower part of the body to go over the waist and whatnot. You've got some little bags here to sort of store stuff in, but you know, it's probably not much. You can probably put some things that you're going to be using on a regular basis, such as lens covers and anything to clean lenses with and so on and so forth, just so that they're quick and easy to get to when you've still got the bag on your back. And obviously it connects together quite nicely as well. Different coloured straps in that regard, or rather different coloured connections in that regard. Doesn't really make much difference. You've still got these sections here that could potentially be used to let things hang off as and when you need it to. In all general honesty though, you don't particularly need this. The rest is secure enough once you've got this all strapped up and adjusted. It does the job quite well. Moving on to the sides here, we have the tripod that I've got, which I've not really secured that well. I've not bothered putting it into the bag properly. I was in a bit of a rush when I did that. I've had second thoughts about just what this is meant for. It's not really big enough to really take something like a water bottle. Even the smallest water bottles, you'd have trouble getting that in. But you could potentially put something like, say, leaflets that you've picked up from going hiking or something, or a small ordnance survey map. You might be able to put something like that in. But yeah, I do still think though that you could do just a bit more strapping down here just to help keep this more secure. This section here, you could still allow, if this wasn't in the bag, you could still allow to have one or two of the feet in there just to try to keep it a bit more secure in general. I don't really bother using that, to be honest. It's handy. Okay, somebody who needs to make use of it might very well find some use for it, but I'm still kind of wondering what the Velcro's for. Maybe if you've got a spare piece of Velcro that goes on the other way, maybe to help secure something. Not that it comes with that bit, but you never know. We might just manage to find something like that. Let's just take this off altogether and put it to one side, so it's just a bit easier to turn it around. Now, over here we've got one more strap. You could potentially put something else there, just to be a little bit more secure. Of course, that's obviously going to get in the way of this little hatch here. As far as I'm concerned, at this point, this little bit here is really just meant as a handle to move things around a bit. This is the waterproof bag bit, which I didn't review the last time I did this. I just sort of completely bypassed it. But the idea is that you've got this waterproof bag that can fit over and secure just the top and the sides of it, for example. So if you've got this lying down on the ground, you're basically going to keep it secure like that. Leave the bottom bit completely completely exposed in that regard, but for what it's supposed to do, I suppose that's alright. And of course, obviously, the side section allows you to get in and out here quite easily. So, let's just zip that up again. And get it sat upright. So, it does do quite a nice job. If you can see this little discoloration here, that's because I've had it lying down on its front so much. There's one bad thing about having it lying down on its display side, so to speak. It's that it will inevitably get a little dirty and maybe a little discoloured, it's not damaged per se, but when you've got it standing up like this, it does a very good job of not falling over or whatnot. Even when you've got this thing in the way, these little feet here do a very good job of providing some stability. Just so you've got a bit of a look at that. Yeah, see? Yeah, nothing special on it. Alright, so let's get this back onto... Oh, actually, let's just have it on its back, so to speak, for the time being, and just take a look on the insides here. Everything handles quite nicely in here. You can still store various different things in. That's all padding here. You've got everything that I've put in here, which is just basically a big book of whatnot. I've got some pens actually stored in here. What's all this thing? What's this? Why did I put that in there? Forget that. Let's just put that to one side and just move on. The straps in here are nice and secure. The velcro's nice and strong. Yeah, it can't get a bit dirty, but you know, everything that you might potentially own will get dirty at some point. You just need to keep an eye on it and make sure that you clean it when you notice it. Don't leave it till later like what I have, because that'll just mean that everything just gets permanently stained and dirty and whatnot. Oh dear, that's my bad. Right, let's open this up and take a look at what else we've got inside here. We've got a Velcro bit, which, to be totally honest, you don't really need to zip up and unzip it. If you do zip it up, then it will unzip quite easily when you move it around. It's basically fly mesh type material here and here because that's the easiest stuff to actually use. It's lighter, it's, you know, going to breathe a bit. And of course it's all inside and it's relatively waterproof in its own right. It doesn't really need that bizarre little bag thing that it's got. You know, it'll do a very good job of staying waterproof in its own right here. So here we have the various bits of equipment I've got. I've not actually bothered changing the layout of this because as it is, it's suited my needs quite nicely. I've not had any need to actually change it, so it's basically exactly as it came from the shops. Here I've got a battery grip, which is usually attached to the camera I'm using at the moment, which is attached to my ring light, and of course I don't bother putting this onto the ring light because it just isn't needed. Okay, I've got this camera directly hooked up to the mains to a special adapter I have. We have the various different lens filters that I've got for various different things. We've got this bag here which contains various things like cleaning cloths, cleaning materials and whatnot. This little bag full of binoculars, because you never know when you might need binoculars. Even though we've got telephoto lenses and whatnot, we've got the telephoto right here, so to speak. And of course the actual lens hood cover as well for that particular kind of lens, and it does do a very nice job. Got various different adapters. We've got my regular short lens, 15 to 55mm. This is 75 to 300. I've got my wide-angled lens on at the moment to make sure everything goes on, because if I'd used the short lens, then it would have looked like that, a little too close, and everything would have been, yeah, you know, a bit naff looking, to be honest. So I've got various different filters. This is my stuff for ND stuff, which I've just realised I'd actually left I've actually left a few lenses in there. These particular lens filters, I've done quite a decent job. I'll have to remember to come back and take those out and put them into their proper box. That's into their proper bag even. That's something I completely forgot to do. Oh dear. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a general look at the bag more than anything else, because that's the main purpose of this particular review. Just a quick look at the bag and how well it stores everything. Several months on, am I happy with this thing? Yes, I am. It's a brilliant investment. It distributes the weight quite nicely. This heat-proof padding here not just keeps you comfortable and helps with the load distribution quite well, it also does a great job of absorbing the heat. I still, to this day, have not ever once wound up with a sweaty back while wearing this thing. That's how well it works. It is that good. So I'm more than happy with it. The weight distribution is great. I don't think I would want to have much more in here than I already have. Nothing I've had in here has ever gotten damaged anyway. Not that I just throw the bag around or anything. I'm very careful with my equipment, which of course you should be, because it is potentially delicate. Can I recommend this? I can't recommend it enough. If you need a bag, consider it. I'll see you next time.